Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Golf Race Fuels Racing Zone presented by Stone Ridge Specialty Insurance here at the Motorama Custom Car and Motorsports Expo. We're continuing with our interviews leading into the Fast Eddie Night of Champion, and we've got some short track champions coming up. Just a quick mention before we get underway, we are streaming live on TrackTune, and Chuck Fram there at the TrackTune Shannonville Drags booth in the back of Hall 1B says if you're listening on to this broadcast right now live on TrackTune, if you go over, show him that TrackTune app on your phone, you can get a free pair of headphones. So an interesting promo they have going on. But shifting gears now to Connor James, the Ontario Sportsman Series champion last season. You won 7 of 9 races, including a stretch of 5 straight. So how would you sum up your season as a whole?
I think it was a season that I don't know if we could ever recreate. I'd sure as heck love to, but it was a picture-perfect season, and lots of poles we were able to get in there, and obviously lots of wins, and lap sled was the main thing too. So to cap it off with a championship was pretty awesome.
The interesting thing about that 5 straight wins as well, 5 different racetracks. You had, and I believe I have them down here. Maybe I don't have them written down, but 5 different tracks. So what stands out to you the most about that stretch of wins?
I think it just kind of came down to the team being able to adapt. Like, there's so much diversity in the team, and they have their notebooks, up and down. We have a big binder that, for every track, we put on the scales, and we just know what to go there with. And every time we unloaded, we were fast right out of the box. So pretty much that, it's just we were able to adapt to everything. Everybody on the two-speed team knows their stuff, and I'm just very fortunate to be with them.
Founded Full Throttle, Sunset, Sauble, Delaware, and Peterborough. So how is it like sort of, you have the same car but a very different set of tracks, so what's the biggest key to sort of keeping that consistently strong results across those different tracks?
I think it just goes back to notebooks. Like you said, those are all very different tracks. You go from a bull ring at Varney to the biggest track, Delaware, and then in between with Peterborough and Sunset. They're very similar, but it's just kind of how you set up the car, and tracks that I'm comfortable with. I'm still, mentally struggling with Varney a little bit, or Full Throttle, sorry. But with Corey, he knows that track like the back of his hand, and just talk to him a lot and learn a lot, and that was kind of the main thing.
So for last season, you returned to the series, but it was after, you lost your dad. Rob passed away early in 2025. So how difficult was it returning to racing after that?
I'll tell you, I've never been nervous in my life to get in a race car, but I was the most nervous to even test a race car. But it just goes out to everybody just kind of behind me, and I've said it in a couple interviews, he'd be kicking me in the butt if I wasn't in a race car last year, right? So we were able to do that and knock off a lot of wins, and I know he was up looking proud, and it's all my family, my wonderful girlfriend. They all they pushed me to be what I can be and to keep me going. So I'm very grateful for all of them.
Then you had a special paint scheme honoring him at the Sunset The Last Dance, the season finale, and you got that win and able to get the championship there. So how did it feel to win with that paint scheme?
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. Just winning with that paint scheme in general was awesome. Craig Camerath and all the guys at Image Wraps knocked it out of the park. And this year we did do another throwback to Dad, which is what I wanted to do, and I was very fortunate to kind of carry Dad's colors last year, and I know he'd be proud. I normally run the number 4, and me and Dan Lawler were at the shop, and a bit of a backstory, Dan Lawler used to help Dad. He built my dad's race cars back in the day, and me and Dan were looking at the car, and we seen the 4 on there, and I just said to Dan, I said, something doesn't seem right. So the night before our first race at Delaware, I called Craig Camerath, and he brought over the 33s, and we decided to change the number up 24 hours before our first race, so it was fun.
And racing definitely a big family thing. Sort of, what advice do you remember from your dad that you still were able to use and reference for racing?
Gosh, he told me a lot of stuff. Your dad's your best friend when it comes to racing. It was, little things like, you don't have to lead till lap 99, or just kind of take your time passing a guy if stuff doesn't look right. But I don't know if it was really a lot of lessons in racing. It was more just learning stuff at the shop, how to put stuff together, how to scale a car this way or put gears in, whatever it may be. But those are all things that I hold really deep with me all the time and think about every single day. Yeah.
So you won that 2025 title, making it a second straight for you. A little bit different in that you were the co-champion, sort of jumping in after the season started there, 2024. Your third series title overall, joining, I believe, 2019 that you won your first title. So how would you compare 2025 to your past titles?
It was quite a bit different. 19 we didn't have nearly as many wins, but it was more family owned. Obviously, we were a family owned operation, me and my dad, and we had some crew guys that helped us, and so that was really cool to get that championship. And as for the co-championship, it's kind of where it all started with me and Corey and the whole two-speed team. Corey had his back injury, and we were racing down south, and Corey gave me the call to fill in for him after he hurt his back, and we did pretty good those last 4 races. And when my father passed away, before he passed away, we kind of had this deal inked with Corey to run for him last year, and stuff was up in the air, but Corey and Fuzzy and Dano and Scotty, everybody at the two-speed team, they took me in like family, and I'm forever grateful for that. And last year it just it was a good old butt kicking, and we hope we can do that again this year.
Yeah, and really able to carry on that two-speed team success that started with Corey winning even the season before that with the championship. And I know he's quite the personality as well. So what is it like running with Corey McAllister?
We had lots of jokes, and that's kind of how it came up of me going in the seat for him. Whenever we raced each other in the 2023 season, we were side by side, and we never touched once. And him and I, we always raced with a lot of respect. We were friends, but we weren't as close as we were now. I almost look up to him like an older brother now. He's a really great guy, and I love racing with him, and I love racing for him even more.
With the Ontario Sportsman Series, they're like old CASCAR cars, basically, so they're really, not only a bit historic, but you got that sort of NASCAR connection, CASCAR in there. So what you like most about this series?
The affordability of it. I've said it multiple times. It's, the tire bill's a quarter of the price for the Pinty's car, and it's you get to travel around. They're fairly cheap to work on, but it's good to see the class growing. That's one thing that struggled a little bit. I think everybody knows it, but this year it looks like there's going to be quite a few cars out there, and I'm really excited to get out there with everybody.
And now looking ahead to 2026, what are your plans for the coming season?
Hopefully go back to back to back. I think that's the main plan, and everybody at the two-speed shop deserves that. So they're the ones that put all in all the hard work, and I just want to bring them home wins and see what we can do.
All right, Connor James, 2025 champion in the Ontario Sportsman Series. Thank you for speaking with me.
Yes, thank you.
Continuing with our Night of Champions interviews, we're here on the Racing Zone stage, and I'm joined now by Jessica Power, a Dirt Car Sportsman World Short Track Championship title winner. And with that, it's a 25-lap feature at the dirt track at Charlotte. Quite a notable one in the backyard of Charlotte Motor Speedway. And your first time winning at that track as well, a single race deciding that championship. What is it like competing in a one-race title like that?
I mean, the pressure is incredible. You have one opportunity to bring the best that you have to the show, so there is a lot of pressure with it, but we really enjoy going down there. It's such a well-known stage, right? That's kind of the heart of racing, so it's really, really special to be able to win at a place like that.
How would you sum up, how would you sort of describe that race and being able to come up and win?
Absolutely. The track had a lot of character, which it doesn't normally. I timed really well, and I had the opportunity to start up front, which certainly helped in those conditions. But going in, I started on the outside pole, and on lap 1, I knew I had one opportunity to get around the pole sitter on the top side. So I sent it in on the top on the first lap, and I think my team was holding their breath. But I got the lead on lap 1, and I never looked back. We actually got, I think, 18 laps of green racing, and I had a 4.5-second lead at the 18-lap mark. So I was just trying to be calm and stay below the really rough patches and hit my marks, and it was going well. And then we had a couple cautions after that, which stressed me out. A past champion was starting right beside me for a couple of those starts, so I knew I had my hands full, but it turned out in the end.
Yeah, that sounds like quite the battle, always when there's those late race cautions, but to be able to lead from pretty much the start and to win that title, how did it feel to win that race and championship?
There has been no more special feeling in my life than that win. Again, to win on that stage in front of my family and friends and all of our amazing fans and sponsors was such a great feeling. I rolled across the scales after, and I could see everybody walking by giving me the thumbs up, and I actually got choked up and tears came to my eyes because it was just such an unbelievable experience, and it's the end of our season. So, you've had a long year, trials and tribulations, and to be able to finish it on such a positive note was the most special feeling.
Yeah, and going back to that, racing in the Dirt Car Sportsman Series and those points races, you finished fifth in the series and without any wins. So what was the key to that increased success compared to the Sportsman part of the season?
I think the places we go on the regular tour are not necessarily in my wheelhouse. I did have some really strong runs this year at some places we're historically not very good at. We had a really successful season overall, but it's really tough competition. I think the key to my success in Charlotte is the track itself. I really like the facility and the track. I've had the opportunity to go there almost every time they've had this show, so I've got quite a few laps on the track, and I had some confidence, right? I felt really good about the car. I felt really good about my chances, and I know lots of people say confidence is worth 10 or 15 horsepower, and I really believe it is.
Yeah, so you mentioned they're enjoying that track, the dirt track at Charlotte. How would you compare it to those other ones on the circuit?
It's a little bit larger racing surface. It's a long track, so I do like longer tracks. Some of the local tracks we race weekly are big tracks. It's quite banked though, and the surface is just really different. So there's a lot of strategy involved in how we set the car up and decisions we make with tires. So I really enjoy that part of it. I know when you race weekly, you can kind of get in a funk and you do the same thing over and over again. But Charlotte is unique. No one goes there all year. For all of us, it's a level playing field, and I just really enjoy the strategic side of competition there.
The interesting thing with dirt track racing is how you have your local home track events, then you build into this overall more of like a season of champions, and then of course the marquee events, and I know Super Dirt Week at Oswego's another one. So how would you describe having events like the World Short Track Championship where it's like all of a sudden bringing that biggest event right for the very end?
Yeah, it's tough because like you said, Oswego Super Dirt Week is near the end of the season, but so much of what we do in the late fall is building up to that. And it's, high pressure, high stress. It's another really big event with 100 cars at it sometimes. I find with Charlotte, it's a nice wind down, right? We're all really excited. It's a bit of a vacation for the team. We get to go and travel down south where it's warmer than it is here at that time of year. So I just really appreciate the relaxation that we have at that event, which I think helps contribute to my success too.
Yeah, so you're from Kingston, Ontario, and racing here at tracks across the states as part of this dirt car tour. So what are the biggest challenges in, being a Canadian-based driver and team racing across other parts of the country south of the border?
Yeah, I think the answer to that question changes, not quite day by day, but over the years that we've been racing, there's been different challenges. When I first started racing, I was a girl, and no one liked being beat by a girl. And then sometimes, to be quite frank, I'd go places and they didn't want to be beat by a Canadian, so that was a challenge. And of course, the geopolitical sphere right now has some tensions, but we've been really fortunate. We race weekly in the States on Friday nights, and we've had no trouble crossing the border, and we've had really no impact to our regular schedule, and we've made some really great friends in the States. So we're fortunate that we can easily go back and forth and race in both places.
How would you compare winning your first World Short Track Championship here? How would you compare that to past seasons in dirt racing where you've had success?
You know what? Every year that things go well and I have some good runs, I'm always so thankful. And I continue to be thankful that I get to do what I love and have so much support behind me. But I think this past season, winning at Charlotte was, I'll say, the icing on the cake. I don't think anything I've done in my career has truly compared to that experience because of the stage that it's on. I've had some pretty big wins, had a lot of success, and I'm so thankful for the fan base that continues to support me. But to be able to put on that show was just awe-inspiring, even for me.
And you'll be able to celebrate that some more here in a short time with the Fast Eddie United Champions. And then before you know it, I guess it'll be the start of, especially for the States, I'm sure they're already starting up. So what are your plans for 2026?
Well, actually, we had the opportunity to go race in Florida about a month ago. So our season already started. We got a win at All-Tech Speedway. I was the first female to ever win a feature there. So that was really special. And then our regular season up home here will start in about a month at Can-Am Speedway, pending weather. With all the snow we've had, we'll have to wait and see. But we'll be racing Friday nights at Can-Am, Saturday nights at Brockville, and the Dirt Northeast Sportsman schedule again. But this year, we've actually had an opportunity with a local team to step up and race some 358 modified races. So I'll be driving for a team up near us where we come from, and I'll have, I think, 8 races on my schedule this year in a 358 modified.
So a busy schedule indeed, racing different cars at different places. Jessica Power, World Short Track Championship Dirt Car Sportsman Champion. Thank you for speaking with me.
Thanks so much, Bryce.
All right, we're going to be continuing our Night of Champions conversations here up at the Gulf Race Fuel Racing Zone stage. If you guys are listening live via TrackTune right now, thank you guys for tuning in. For anyone passing by right now, please download TrackTune. It's a great way for you to listen to stock car racing at various racetracks across the province on a weekly basis. But we're going to continue our conversation here with with Jake Sheridan, the Delaware late model champion, and NTN BCA Bearings Triple Crown champion as well. Congratulations, man. How are you doing? How's your off season?
Good, man. Really busy. Obviously, busy with the regular job and coming off a great year. So we had quite a winter up there in Northern Ontario, but everything's good and getting ready to go again for another year.
Last season, one of the highlights for you must have been obviously winning the championship. One of the deals like that. How did that feel for you?
Yeah, the NTN championship to me was huge. I mean, that's kind of what I'm all about. I love those longer distance races, and to be able to put a Triple Crown competition like that style together is really cool. And obviously, 3 tracks that I'm really fond of. I really like Delaware, obviously, and to come out with a P2 there in 300 was heartbreaking, but also amazing to come out with a second. And the Sunset win is probably the biggest win of my career. So second at Flamborough as well, and all 3 of those tracks have been a huge part of my career. So that was huge to me, and I really like those longer style races. And the Delaware Championship, to have 2 to my name is crazy to even say. So I can finally say I've surpassed my dad in championships, which is always a great conversation in the house at dinner time. And have 2 of those to my name is really just speaks to Sheridan name, and obviously I couldn't do it without him. So definitely a huge milestone, and happy to have that happen.
Absolutely. Coming from a very racing background family is nothing to be short of. I know one of my drivers, formerly David Elliott, that I used to crew for, finished second to your dad in the 300 back in the day. You know, there's a photo. I still can't find it, but it's circulating around somewhere, and it's a great shot of both your guys' arms, your dad's arm, David's arms out the window, coming to the checker flag. But obviously, the longer races, you kind of touched on that there a little bit. You didn't finish outside the top 5 here in our notes here. For any races over 100 laps. Obviously, what do you like about those extended races?
I mean, obviously, there's a lot that goes into them. It's a huge calculation situation, I guess, when you're racing against guys with that caliber. Like everybody in the APC series is so talented, and it's taken a long time for us to get here. But myself as a driver, but at the same time, it speaks a lot to the caliber of race cars we got. Obviously, the McCall guys put a great piece together, and we've been working really hard at it for a couple of years, and to be able to kind of have a season that went as it should, nothing crazy happened, or no mechanical failures, has been hard to put together for me. So I just really like that style of racing, and it's something that's really come to me in the last year or 2 coming together.
Obviously, being the Delaware Pro Late Model Champion, how would you describe your home track season?
It was great. I mean, lots of highs and lows and some excitement. I mean, lots of big competition come there as well in the regular series. So a couple extended races there in their series and in their season, and to have that, going back and forth between 100-lap races and 203-lap races in APC, and then come back home in Delaware for a 35-lap feature. It's a lot of contrast, and it's totally different driving situations in a 35-lap feature. So come back to my roots and kind of do some heat races again and run 35-lap features. I love it. It's so much fun. It's a sprint, and you can really get at it. So those guys have got a great program going on there, and they've really done a lot to grow that series in the last 2 years, and to be part of it once again is great to me. And again, like I say, a lot to my heritage and my family name. So really enjoyed that, and kind of, at this day and age, having a championship's tough. Like, there's a lot of really good cars, and making it all that duration of length, the races is a lot to achieve. So really great to be able to do that, especially twice over.
Obviously, down at Delaware, it has some of the best pro late model racing in the province. And like you said, like the preparation you guys must go through, where you show up, you practice, you qualify, you run a 150, 100 lap race, is a lot different than a weekly race where you show up, you run 10, 15 minutes of practice, you run 10 laps for heat, and then you go out and run a 35 lap feature. What goes into that preparation to make you stand out to be competitive week in and week out?
It's tough. I'm going to say unfortunately, but unfortunately I feel like these days it is more about your equipment than it ever has been in the past. So obviously that's a huge thing. And that's not just, it's not just something you can just pay for all the time. It takes a lot of knowledge and experience to be able to do that. I mean, I can't believe we were just talking the other day. I've been racing pro late models since 2018. So I've been racing pro late models for 7 years.
Yeah.
I've only been racing, period, for 15. So it's been a huge part of my career. So obviously that, I've been kind of quietly going through it all for that time and built up to this. But to go back and forth is a huge change. And obviously I grew up running the shorter races. So the longer distance stuff was something I've attained recently. And I can really lean on my previous knowledge for the sprints.
I know we're going to be celebrating you over in the Hall 2 here in just a little bit, but you have some incredible sponsors. By the way, your car is just over here in Hall 1B, back with the United Racing Series. If you guys want to go take a look at it, it's a beautiful looking car once again this year. We got less than 2 minutes, so quickly tell us what's the inspiration behind the look of the car, and then also give us your who you want to thank to get you to the championship each year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity for that. Obviously, beautiful car. That actually is our last year car. So that car last year ran 23 races and we won 13. So that's a really special car for my name and for McCall's. Obviously, it's fitting that's on display here in the Delaware and the APC booth. So definitely that scheme was actually something totally random. I've always had black cars and red in my entire life. That's all I've ever had, black and red 52s. And my Outlaw late model, I thought when my racing career was absolutely spiraling out of control, going terrible, I thought I'd build one last car, tried something different. And we went with the Outlaw Super Late Model, and we went with a gold chassis as a throwback to my dad's gold late model chassis that he ran for, 12 years. It won the 300, it won a NASCAR championship, it won all kinds of stuff up here. So we thought, it might not be popular. It's not the most favorite color for a chassis, but it's cool. It's something we've done, and that's a lot of cars he's had is gold. So we thought it was cool to do that, and then we thought we might as well throw some gold in the mix. And then this opportunity came up so last minute to run that Pro Late model, and we already had a design on our Super, so we just copied and pasted it and changed the gold on top to red and put it on a white car. And that's probably my favorite looking car we've ever had. So that's our last year car, and that scheme is something special for me, something different. I can't thank Dean and Jackie from RPM enough for doing that whole deal. That was really last minute. They did all of our cars last year, and obviously a great sponsor and a partner of ours. And everybody else, Raptor Filters came on board this year, and to see them how much their booth has grown in the last couple of years here has been amazing. And their partnership last year meant the world to me and made a huge difference in my career, honestly. Really brought us, from being able to compete and be there to being able to bring some really good equipment every single week. So they've been a great addition to my partnership, and all my other partners have all been since I actually worked for them in high school. So Reynolds Trucking and Harvesting's been great. Pride Seeds and Reynolds Trucking and Vibrant Farms have all been longtime sponsors of mine. So can't thank them enough, and that's what we're going to do it again this year.
All right, everyone, that is Jake Sheridan, the NTN Triple Bearings and Delaware Speedway champion. Next up, we are going to be having, who's next, actually? Darren Dryden is going to be up on stage here in just a second. Thank you so much, Jake, for stopping by. Have a great night.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to continue our conversation up here on the Gulf Fuels Racing stage. We got the 2025 Southern Ontario Sprint 360 champion, Darren Dryden. Darren, how's it going, man?
It's doing well. How about you?
Doing well, thank you. How's your off-season been, man?
It's been good, just plugging away, busy with the race season, obviously in preparation, and doing a lot of work for other teams and just kind of getting everybody prepared as well as myself, so it's been good. Last year, you won the Southern Ontario Sprints, winning by just 4 points over Ryan Turner, so obviously it came down to the final night. How was that for you? How did it feel coming across the line and knowing that you won the championship? Yeah, honestly, going across the line, I did not know at the time. We had an interesting night. We actually lost our brakes right at the get-go of the race, and I was just trying to salvage the night. Nobody obviously knew at the moment I didn't have any brakes on the car, and I never actually ran a sprint car without brakes. So that was my first time. So I was doing a lot to learn and just really make use of the engine brake of the car and not get anybody else's way and kind of salvage the night the best I could. And I think if I lost a couple more positions, I may not have had it, but it all worked out very well.
Obviously, consistency is the key, and we know you didn't end up in victory lane with the series, but obviously, what does it take to be just consistent within the sprint car division over across Southern Ontario?
Yeah, honestly, we're always there, being able to compete, run up front, but we definitely have a strong division of, there's only certain few cars who really shine and get those wins and take those away from everybody. So there's only so many moments where us other drivers get an opportunity to win. And, at Ohsweken, for example, there was only, I think, maybe 4 winners throughout the year and stuff like that. So for us to take home one with Ohsweken was a big feat for us. And then on top of that, we're just consistent and, fire off the night really good in qualifying. We're always there to put ourselves in position and click off the laps so that we can, be there at the end of the night and a lot of podiums. And that's what really, brought us that championship.
Obviously, year over year, you have been getting better and better with how you finish in the points. What does it take to get that much better each year to be contending for these championships?
I honestly find with this division, definitely experience. At the speed we're traveling, the talent that we race against, the money that we're up against, and us being a small team, family-run team, we definitely see a lot of success just in, kind of everybody has their roles. We got our own mechanics. My father does a lot behind the scenes, and then obviously I'm kind of the business side of things between marketing partners and making the car look good and our suits and everything like that, and obviously our merch that we sell to the fans too. So,
which, by the way, he definitely has one of the best looking sprint cars around. If you guys have ever been to Ohsweken Speedway or follow the Southern Ontario Sprints, Darren Dryden has one of the best looking sprint cars out there. Your worst finish came at the Ohsweken Northern Nationals. What did it take for you to overcome that to come back next week to get stronger?
Yeah, I mean, we've had maybe a few off nights where, things don't go as planned, but every night's a new night. When it comes to dirt, the track's never the same, and that's what the mentality is. When we used to run asphalt, every time you go to the track, you kind of know who those favorite drivers are going to be that night. With dirt, it's kind of whoever is most adaptable to how those track conditions change, and we treat every race day like it's another one. So.
And obviously that's the way to go about it, right, is to treat everyone like a new race day. Don't let it get to you. Overall, though, even though you ran Southern Ontario Sprints, you also did run a home track division at Ohsweken Speedway. How did that go for you, and what were some of your memories there?
Yeah, Ohsweken Speedway, we actually took home our first win there this year, so it was huge. And it was the track conditions that were extremely rough. A lot of people were dialed back. And it honestly just fired me up, and the adrenaline was pumping, and we had the GLSS guys there too, so kind of defending home turf, and we had a great run every time we went to the track. We even traveled into the States a lot of the times throughout the year. At Eldora, we placed second. I led a lot of the laps there. We actually almost took home the win. So at our first attempt there, and at a lot of the other tracks we went to, we've been competitive. So for us to do this at the size of our team and being those local guys and kind of making the efforts of traveling and racing with those guys that are really good contenders in the U.S. and obviously in Canada too. It's a blast to see what we can do.
I was just about to ask you about that actually. What's the competition like going to run with the Great Lakes series down in the States? What was it like going to them for the first time in their territory and be like, how did you stack up against, obviously you stacked up really well against them, almost winning the race at Eldora, but what was it like going to some of these facilities for the first time and seeing how they run?
Yeah, they're definitely good. They have, 5 to 8 guys that are just on kill every time and, that they can win any night. I honestly think Ohsweken may have a little bit of an edge. I like to think that our home track guys are a little bit stronger, but at the same time, I do think when we go run with them, they have that advantage on us. And it's definitely hard to beat them at their home track. But when they come race with us, whether it's Ohsweken or whether it's Buxton, we seem to be kind of the favored group. And it's kind of changed over the years. Previously, I believe they were stronger. But I find when we have to defend home turf, we do a little bit better than them. So it's nice to see us do well when we compete against them because, years ago we didn't think we'd be able to, cross the border and be a favor to win on any night. And now when we do, they actually get pretty excited when we come and put on a challenge with their guys too. So it's good.
I know we're running out of time here, but you got some marketing partners, of course, you got to thank because without them, you wouldn't be able to get to the track week in and week out. So why don't you tell us a little bit about them real quickly?
Yeah, so first and foremost, we got to thank Humberview Parts. They're a huge partner of ours over the years. We've also brought on Moxie. He's been a huge help. And then DJD Gear, 3M, and DJD Graphics. And we have honestly a long list, and we know we're short on time, so we got to thank the core ones.
All right, everyone, that is Darren Dryden, the 2025 Southern Ontario's Sprint Car Champion. Thank you so much, Darren. Hope you have a great night. For the Night of Champions in the Gulf Fuels Racing Zone up here. We got the Soma Pro 4 Modified Cliff Hodgkinson. Cliff, how's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Obviously, how's your offseason been going? This is the first time kind of a lot of us racers are out. I'm not including myself as a racer, but racers, media, I kind of saw the same kind of deal. It's the first time out kind of since, winter took over for us, and it's been one hell of a winter. But how's your offseason been going?
Pretty good. We're busy. My wife blew up her engine, so I've been trying to rebuild that, and we've run into a few problems.
Well, that's never fun.
So my car is pretty much ready to go. It's here the way I brought it off the track and won the championship. Didn't clean the rubber, oil, nothing. Just put some trays underneath to catch the oil.
Yep.
And then the wife's car is on the hoist with a blown motor.
I like it when the cars keep realistic expectations kind of deal with how they come off a track, even when it's, almost the beginning of the race season when everyone's cars are looking really good.
Yeah.
I love it when cars show up and they still have last year's wears and tears on them.
Do you want to see what they look like with oil dripping all over the place? Mine's over there.
It's just to the left of, or right of you guys if you're looking at the stage, but left to us here, facing out to everyone out. Last year, you got 2 wins, 9 top 5s in 9-point pain races with the Soma Pro 4 Modifieds. Obviously, how did that go for you?
It went really well. We were pretty much on the podium every night. I don't think I finished outside a third, maybe 1/4. Yeah.
I was going to say, I got 2 fourths here on the page, so I really hope.
Yeah, 2 fourths.
Maybe Bryce got that right. Based on the website, Bryce says. Obviously, never finishing outside the top 5. Obviously, you guys have built your car count back up. It is a series that has been showing a lot more. It's been getting a lot more traction amongst other drivers as well. But obviously, for you guys, what has it been like running with, traveling around the province? What's it been like running those cars?
It's been excellent. I used to race Can-Am Midgets. When I started with them, they had 26 cars. And then when I started with the Pro 4s back when they were full bodies, they had 23. So I made it into the show every night. I didn't have to worry. But the Americans would come up, and then there'd be 28, and you had to qualify.
Yeah.
And in my rookie year, I was like, I'm not going to make the race, right? But I did, because a couple of them broke down. So I never missed a race. My first year, I was the rookie of the year, and I was 3rd.
So fun fact here. I saw this question that Bryce put on our sheet here, and I haven't really had a chance to look over the sheet. Sorry, Bryce. This is the first time I'm looking at the sheets here.
You need a big monitor there so you can just read it, eh?
Your team name for the racing is Baby Gorilla Racing.
That's correct.
What is the story behind that?
It's actually a really simple story. My 2 passions, things I like, lifting weights and racing cars. So I was in the gym and I was doing 4 plates, and the owner of the gym came over and he said, "What the hell, are you a baby gorilla?" It stuck.
You know what? That's a good name for a race team, and it's a great backstory as well.
Yeah, and I mean nobody's messing with a silverback, right?
No, absolutely not. We're all running the other way.
The best way to win a fight is to not get in one.
That's exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
So,
you either
look intimidating, right?
Fun fact. That's exactly what happens to me all the time. I've many a time.
Well, what are you benching? 300?
Buddy, I don't even know. I don't go to the gym. You know what I lift? I lift pizza.
You're squatting 300.
I think
we're about the same size, so I can joke.
Exactly. what is your past experience in racing? Because I'm looking at the list here, and you touched on Can-Am midgets, Oscar modifieds. You ran ARCA trucks.
That's right.
Okay, so what is that? I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
So ARCA has a few different levels too. So
ARCA is the one that goes to Daytona.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's ARCA. What else is there for ARCA?
Yeah. So I wanted to be a NASCAR driver.
Okay.
So I thought, how can I get from here to there? So we ended up going with the trucks because they ran a 4-cylinder, same engine as the Pro 4.
Okay.
So I had a 2-liter running against 2.6 liters, and I still was able to be the rookie, and I got second on the dirt track because ARCA makes you run a dirt race.
Yes.
So I went down there, and I took a dirt expert with me that used to race, won championships, and we get to the feature race, and I go, okay, Sandy, like, what can you tell me? And he said, drive it just like you're on asphalt. I said, okay. So I started 26 because I got spun leading the heat.
Yep.
And I came from 26th to 2nd.
Oh, wow.
So
in how many laps?
These were 30 laps on dirt, 50 laps on asphalt with some 100 lappers mixed in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even still getting to the front in series like that, it's obviously really insane to get that all done. So,
the advantage I had a small engine on dirt.
Yes.
So I wasn't spinning.
You weren't spinning the
tires.
tires.
And the big
as much.
motors were out trying to get traction in the berm. I just held it to the wall, and I kept passing and passing and passing because I drove it like an asphalt car.
Yeah.
The car was tacky. The track was tacky. Didn't work.
This 2026 season upcoming, obviously you got some marketing partners on your car that you got to thank.
It's real easy for me. I thank my wife, Kelly Martin, because she works in our business, Trusted Car Care. That's the sponsor.
All right. And anyone else you want to thank for your championship season?
I would like to thank Can Motors. They paid for our trip down here in our hotel, and Gibson Excavating paid for the fuel to get here.
Perfect. Even better. All right, well, we're going to get out of here for right now. That is Cliff Hodgkinson, the 2025 Southern Ontario Modified Association Pro 4 champion. Thank you for stopping by.
Continuing here with our Motorama Night of Champions interviews as we get set for that coming up shortly in Hall 2. But for now, John Baker Jr., the OMRS, or as it is now, the Gen 3 Sports Mods champion here for 2025. 3 feature wins, a second place, a third place, a tie for second in the Bill Pickford Memorial. So a strong season for you there. How would you sum up your season?
My season was crazy this year. Started off with a win, kind of more lucky than fast, and then went downhill with a broken motor for a night. Bought some horrible lifters and cost me a $5,000 motor fix. And if you had asked me on the third night if we were going to finish near the top of the points, I would have told you no. And then the team rallied back, and we all worked together and had lots of good luck and managed to turn things around and end up with quite the resume and take the points at the end of the year. It was a great year.
Yeah, what was the biggest challenge having to come back from something like that? Blown engine in practice, that's got to be tough when it's like you've barely had any track time from that day.
Yeah, correct. And learning a new car, J.R. Fitzpatrick jumped in and gave me a hand on some setup stuff. He's a friend of mine, a great fellow racer for everybody, and gave us some advice to work that body style to try and help us, because it was a lot different to run with fenders than without fenders. And in the end, it worked out. The thing was really fast. It's quite comparable to everybody else's car. It was fun.
Yeah, it's interesting that you start to mention that, being the Ontario Modifieds Racing Series, but now switching over to that sports mod. So, it's got to be similar but different at the same time. So how would you compare those two vehicles?
At the end of the day, they don't really compare at all. The change in the tire, so we use a harder compound tire to cut the cost, but the change in the air going over the tires, going over the nose, how they steer, you can't bump with them anymore. Like before, Chad and I could kind of push each other and sort of help each other out, or back and forth, however you word it. You can't do any of that. It picks the back tires of the car off the ground, and it's no good for nobody. So they're a lot more sensitive. You got to be a lot more respectful. Brings a whole new light to watching the Super Late models drive for all these years and watching them do their thing. So to have that similar body style is kind of cool.
How does it feel to be able to win a championship with both those kinds of cars?
Absolutely overwhelming. Last year, winning the last ever open wheel modified OMRS championship, I was kind of sad with the rules changing. I was not 100% for the fenders. I went with that because it's a chassis, tire program, and economy class I could afford, and I really wasn't motivated to do it in the beginning of the year. And when I noticed that we got a couple more cars, and now I'm finding out we're getting even more cars, 3 more new signups for this year, I was like, this is probably the wave of the future and the way to go. And quite frankly, I think all the cars look really sexy now. I did like my open wheel cars. I think they look sexy. There's a couple of them that weren't totally conforming to the body package last year, which they'll be fixed up for this year. And we should be able to move forward and build a better momentum and more cars.
So you've been around this series for a little bit now. What do you like most about the OMRS/sports mods?
So it really is a family atmosphere. Like this year when Glenn hit the wall in qualifying round, he was leading the points, and now of course I'm trying to chase up through points, but pretty much the entire class was down at his car trying to put whatever parts we could find or figure out a way to make his car race again. And it's really good to know that you're with a group of guys. Yes, we all want to win. Yes, we all want to beat each other. Nobody showed up for second. Nobody showed up for fifth. But also nobody showed up to watch one of their fellow racers sit on the trailer. So it's really nice to know that it's that environment, or I don't know if you want to call it a dysfunctional family group. We're a dysfunctional family group. And obviously we're looking for more cousins and nieces and nephews. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, to try to grow the people in the series.
Absolutely.
So you've had 21 career titles between this series, Peterborough, the Motorsport Oval, and Kawartha. How would you compare this 2025 Sports Mods title to these past championships you've won across these different places?
So every championship brings its own unique set of challenges. There's always a few people that really make a huge difference that particular year, whether you're whatever track you're running or what car you're running. This one was tough, battling back from a deficit and trying to learn a car. At the same time, everybody else was trying to learn the same car body. So it's kind of special to know that we sort of stumbled on some stuff, and obviously have a good friend circle to get some additional help. And it was really nice to be able to pull off the first ever in the history books for the history of time OMR or Gen 3 Sports Mod OMRS Championship. So it's really cool.
What's the key to having this continued success throughout your career?
I've been really fortunate. My father obviously raced, my uncle raced, my cousin, my son even raced for a short stint. But I've been fortunate to be able to line myself up with great people. Like, so in the audience is Randy Freeman. I raced his late model car for a bunch of years with him while racing my own deal at the same time. And like even his deal, everything, I just seem to have been very blessed or very lucky. And sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good. I have a good friend base, pretty good sponsor base. Everybody's more than willing to help me. It's just quite nice. I think I'm just lucky, if that makes any sense.
So for this series, I guess it races different tracks, but it's kind of in a way based out of Peterborough. And I'm noticing you're getting some hero cards signed here from the autograph session across at the podcast corner booth, and the Bounties, of course, racing locally there at Peterborough. So I don't want to make any assumptions here, so I'll ask you, as much as we talk about Peterborough, what is your favorite track?
So Peterborough is my favorite track. It's where I cut my teeth. I've raced at other tracks and had good success and liked them as well, but Peterborough's definitely my favorite. I kind of know all its bumps and lumps and jumps, and it's been great. And over the last 5 years, it's been really good to become friends with the Bounty family and get to see Ava go out and race her Bando. It feels just as special to me as when Brock went out and raced his own car. And then as well with the Dobb family. Jeremy and I were friends a long time ago, drifted apart. We're back to friends again, which is great to have him back in my life. And to have his boy Ethan running this year is just even better. So, like I said, I'm just blessed. I don't want to sound conceited, but I think the stars are working for me on a regular basis, and I'm very proud of the ride I'm riding, and I enjoy it, and I understand it's a good ride, and I got to live it for all it's worth.
Yeah, for sure. And Peterborough, one of the big events, of course, the Autumn Colors Classic late in the year. And I believe the MRS has raced there recently. Did they race there last season? So they have that big event. And, of course, the Bill Pickford Memorial. I remember from the past, while you didn't win that this year, that was a meaningful one for you. So what is it like having these marquee events on the calendar? Yeah, no,
Bill Pickford was a personal friend. I talked to him for years and years previous to him passing, and I'm the only remaining Bill Pickford engine-powered car out there. We had to repair it and spend a bunch of time and money on it this year, but I'm quite proud to say that it's still the basis of his motor and what he put together for me as a package. And I miss him very much. and to be the first full-out winner of his series, like his race, was very special. We also have the Mabry Classic, and Rob's friend, and that was a bad deal with his passing as well. So it's kind of neat because of the family environment. You actually get a little emotional connection to each other, whether you want to admit it or not. And we're all getting older. We're all seeing families come and go and people come and go. And it's just nice to know you get to hang on to a group of people.
And just very quickly, what are your plans for 2026?
My plans for 2026 are to come out with a vengeance. We finally sorted the car out by mid-season, and we're on an upward roll. Chad and I were pretty darn close in time. Well, everybody was pretty close in times, to be honest. And we worked our way up and learned a bunch more stuff. And hopefully we can come out of the gate swinging and move forward from there. So just pick up where we left off and go to Peterborough and watch the kids race their bandos and bug my friends while we're there. Pick on Donovan, pick on Paul, pick on Jeremy. He's going to be running a super stock car as well. So I'm just excited for the whole deal.
All right, John Baker Jr., or JBJ as you may know him, the Gen 3 Sports Mods 2025 champion. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Continuing here with our Night of Champions interviews on the Racing Zone stage and streaming live on TrackTune. I'm joined now by Mike Bradley, the 2025 Outlaw Midgets champion. So you had 4 wins, 7 podiums, 10 top 5s, and 11 races. And out of those victories, you had 3 wins in the first 4 races. So how would you describe the start to your season?
Yeah, thanks, Bryce. The start of the season was really good. Obviously, we came out banging with a couple of wins right out of the box. So I don't know how that happened. We did give the car a lot of privacy over the winter, and just came out. Luck was on our side for sure, and we were quick. So continued rolling on that momentum.
Yeah, and definitely able to keep those consistent finishes going in order to win the championship. How would you sum up your season as a whole?
I think it was I would say that one of the best seasons we've had. Consistency was key. Like we said, we had the early wins, but then kind of fizzled out throughout the season. A lot of top 5s. I think we only had 1 DNF. So I think that's really key. That goes back to shop time, right? Maintenance time, making sure you can make it through the race day without any issues.
So you took a break. You won the title in 2023, then sort of part-time in 24. Came back and you actually used your brother Dave's car this past season. What impact did that have on your success?
I think the car was really good right out of the box. So it wasn't my idea. It was actually Dave's. So I'm not the bad guy here, but 2 very closely prepared cars, an entirely different feeling driving them. I had a little bit more to do with building the 15 car that I drove last year. So winning the championship on that was a very big sense of pride. Car was just on rails. It's based on a Striker chassis. So Mike Westwood put that one together, and then I just kind of made some subtle changes and love it. It's night and day to my 53 car. But yeah, it was an experiment. It just kind of worked out, right?
So is that yours for the keeping now?
I don't know. I think Dave and I are going to have maybe rock, paper, scissors. Maybe today. I don't know. I really am excited to get my old seat back, though. So I think we're going to split back into Dave running the 15 and I'm in the 53. Not quite sure about scheduling yet for this upcoming season. Dave's got his other part-time job going on, so we haven't really figured that out, and we'll just see what May brings and go from there.
All right, sounds good. Maybe the rock, paper, scissors can be during the Night of Champions, as I believe he'll be hosting that. But I think I told you this stat in the fall was that, comparing 25 to 23, you had the same win total and an additional podium in 1 less race compared to 2023. But as far as how it felt, how would you compare those 2 titles?
I think this one, I think I put less pressure on myself this one. We just ran it out towards the end of the year. I didn't even know what the standings were. I didn't know where we had to finish, or I wasn't counting points at all. I knew we were doing pretty well, but I just kind of let it unravel, and I think that's key. I didn't put that pressure on myself or the rest of the people in our team. Mom and dad and everybody that helps on the car. No one felt the pressure. It was just out, have some family time, have a mental break, and just have fun doing it. So I think that was. It didn't feel as dominating. That's for darn sure. But it was an outlet for sure. It was good.
Yes, and definitely a bunch of different drivers sort of in the mix there throughout the season. How would you describe the competition in the series?
Super stiff, man. Like really, really stiff. As you can see from however many people won last year. I'm going to say there's probably 6-7 drivers any day that that can pull away podium, and my brother's one of them. Mike Holmwood. That's a pretty stacked field, right?
Yeah, for sure, and we definitely seeing past champions come back and win in other seasons as well. You had 2 of your wins came at Sauble, but overall winning at 3 different tracks with, I believe Peterborough and Full Throttle being the other ones.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
What do you like most about the tracks on the schedule?
I love the fact that they're all different, and that's what keeps me coming back to this touring series. Although they look very close, they all have very different corners. They all have very different straightaways, and the prep required for each track is slightly different. So that's what keeps me coming back. You got to realize where the bumps are on every other track, and just know how to tame the beast.
And a lot of big events sort of on this schedule, whether it's Autumn Colors and Frost Oberfest, which I believe are more like one-day shows, but even having those couple long weekends at Sauble where you're there the whole weekend. So what is it like sort of having that atmosphere of people where you're sort of staying over, hanging out around the track for an extended weekend?
Yeah, it's super fun. I mean, we're competitors on the track, but the whole club is really a family, friendship-based organization. We'll all drive real hard against each other, give each other respect on the track, but then all come together with potluck dinners and have some beers at the fires on the long weekend ones. So long weekends are great. The kids usually love them. Sometimes it's a little bit logistically challenging, but looking forward to those 2 long weekends this year. Specials. I've got a couple of specials to win that I really haven't, and maybe that's keeping me coming back. But Fall Colors, Bridesmaid a couple of times, that's really starting to get to me. And my brother has won it, and he rubs it in my face more times than not. So we'll see.
So perhaps the goal for this year.
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah. I would say, Frostfest's another one. Like, it's so much fun winning the big ones, right? Or even being competitive and putting on good shows in the top 3, top 4. That's what really, keeps me coming back. For sure, something in my bucket list.
All right, so something to watch this season for sure. Mike Bradley, the 2025 champion in Outlaw Midgets. Thanks for speaking with me.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bryce.
We're here continuing our Night of Champions interviews and a special segment where we have some of the different Sunset Speedway champions. Of course, the unfortunate news with Sunset being idle this season. So these group of guys here, part of the last group for now at least, winning a title at the track. So I guess we'll sum up everyone's seasons. First of all, Josh Davenport joining me here at Junior Late Models. And so you had 8 wins, I believe, and 8 starts, according to what I could find up. How would you sum up your season?
Well, it was a pretty much perfect season. Won all the races and had some tough battles through the way and worked hard all season to get there.
Wally Wilson next to him, racing in the modifieds. So you had 3 wins, 8 top 5s in 8 races. How would you sum up your year?
It was pretty good. We just out of nowhere started winning and just kept winning.
Coltin Everingham in the Super Stocks. You had 3 wins, 9 top 5s in 11 races. How would you sum up 2025?
It was really good. This is a breakout season for us. We ended up with 4 wins. We beat Wally by 1. We were having friendly competitions every week that we were racing on the same night. But no, it was the best season we've had. It was pretty cool to if it is the last time to win a championship at Sunset, it was really cool to be a part of that.
And also joining us, Jacob Sutcliffe from the Mini Stocks. 5 wins, 11 top 5s in 11 races, I believe. How would you sum up your campaign?
Yeah, it was really good. I was really happy that me and my brother, we raced in the same division. We could do well there. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Car performed well, and yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll go sort of left to right here. And talking about Sunset here with the notable season, what was your reaction when you heard that Sunset was being sold and the future of racing there in question?
Definitely, it was a big surprise, a track that I grew up racing at and watching my dad race. It definitely sucked to hear, but I guess that's part of it. But I won a lot of races there and made a lot of memories.
Yeah, I was pretty sad. This is the best track I've had, so to be the last champion was pretty cool, and yeah, it just sucks that it's gone.
Yeah, it's definitely very unfortunate. It was kind of, you heard some rumors about it, and you just you didn't want to really believe it. And when they announced it in the drivers' meeting, it was you could hear a needle drop in the room. So I've grown up at Sunset my whole life. I've 28 years old. I've been around there since I was a baby, and it's definitely going to be tough traveling past Sunset to go to other tracks across province.
Yeah, I mean, very, very sad news. It's a track where me and my dad both won a championship, and there since I was a kid. I may or may not have had a tear fall when I read we weren't there that day that they announced it. So, yeah, super upset. Hopefully it comes back around. There's always hope, but yeah, hopefully we get to go back there and play again.
And I'm guessing that's Steve Oakes joining us.
I am sorry I'm late. The question was, what's it like to be the last champion at Sunset?
So sort of like, what was your reaction when you heard about Sunset Speedway, that it was going to be sold, that they were retiring from their owner?
Devastating. But I am very hopeful because I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but I did tweet Cletus McFarlane to help save the track. I haven't heard back yet, but I'm putting a lot of eggs in that basket.
So maybe we'll try to promote that tweet here and see if we could get some help, get some investors from the States there. So I guess once that news was out of the way, how did that sort of impact your approach to the remainder of the season?
Definitely made you cherish your moments more and hang out with some of the people that you only get to see there, and yeah.
Honestly, it just made me want to win more races there and just make the best of it.
Yeah, Josh pretty well hit the nail on the head there. You know, you went out every single weekend and you know, gave it more of an all than you'd normally do on a regular Saturday night, if that makes sense. You know, we just I wanted to win as many races as soon as I heard that as possible, so we can keep etching our name in some victories.
Yeah, I mean, I think these guys all hit it right on the head. Hey, you just gave it maybe a little more every time you were out there. You tried to win every race, you know, grab positions you maybe usually wouldn't to try and keep the car. You wanted to do everything you could and treasure every moment that we were out there for. It was super special, and with the last dance, I mean, it was a fantastic weekend that the track put on. Yeah, just treasure every last moment, every lap, every last beer can that we had there.
Yeah, trying to take in the last of it on the last dance. I didn't do as well in the race because I was trying to take photos while I was racing in the car so I can remember it. But yeah, no, I'm gonna miss it a lot.
I guess if you had any suspension, it wouldn't really carry over anywhere anyways.
Hopefully not.
So, yeah, the unique thing here with you group of drivers up on the stage, now being able to win that championship, you know, many of these different tracks, you have a weekly champion from year to year, but this group of drivers could very well be the last group, or at least the last year for a bit of time, to win a track title at Sunset. So once that season was all over, all said and done, how did it feel to get that last dance title?
Definitely felt pretty good to win another championship there, and yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, I ran at the back forever, and finally, finally to get it done, it was cool.
Yeah, no, just like Wally and Josh both said, you know, if it is the last time, it's cool that our names are kind of the ones that are sketched in the book. and the last page of the book. Hopefully it's not the last hurrah at it, and hopefully, in a couple years or whatever they can make something happen, but it's definitely something that we can all be really proud of.
Yeah, I mean, they're all, again, they got all the points correct so far. I think that just to have our names there would be super cool. I mean, I hope they're not the last names. I hope that somebody else gets to go in there and have just as much fun as we had. But if it is, yeah, it's an honor that I think all of us will carry for the remainder of our race careers to, try and uphold what Sunset taught us and their values and beliefs and carry that with us.
I think we're all devastated that it's closing, but we're all secretly happy that we're the last ones. It's like a yin and yang. Because this might be the best thing that I ever win in my life. So I definitely want to milk it. But yeah.
So I guess now just reflecting on in general, like last season, even before that at Sunset Speedway, what is sort of a memory that might stick out to you that you think of about racing at that track?
A memory that sticks out the most is I got my first win there in 2023, and I got to celebrate it with some of the best people.
For me, honestly, it'd be probably winning the last race there ever, like the last modified race, and had this guy spawn for me, and he did that most of the year, and it's cool.
For me, definitely it would be winning on the Big Z Memorial Night and the Flying Frank 49. Two huge people that were a big part of my racing and huge staples in my program. Frank and I raced against each other for a long time, and we always had really good battles and stuff. So it was really, really cool to be able to dominate on that night and as well with Grandpa Zardo for the night before.
Yeah, for me and my brother, we learned how to drive race cars at Sunset. That's where we kind of made our craft, and the two of us both have cars now, and the night that I won and he came in second was really special. We kind of celebrated in Victory Lane, parked both cars down there, and that's a memory I'll hold forever.
While they were talking, I was trying to think of what my favorite memory would be there. Obviously the championship year, but like, I don't know, nothing's going to beat that first season where everything was just new and like, because I knew nothing about racing, and everyone, what I came across from the year one was how nice everyone at the track was. That's what I'm going to remember the most about Sunset was I grew up playing hockey, so like everyone was, you're not so friendly to everyone, especially if they're on the other team, but in racing it was the complete opposite where I didn't know anyone, but people would come up to me and be like, hey, do this to your car or fix this. So like year one was the big one for me, meeting everyone and learning this whole like racing stuff.
And lastly, what do you like most from a driving perspective about Sunset?
Definitely just the line around Sunset. You got to find the fine line, and got to be really smooth with it.
It was probably one of the most difficult tracks around, and honestly, like once you figured it out, like it was probably the most fun track out there.
Yeah, for me, I've raced there for 13 years, so I felt the track transition a lot. Had a ton of grip at one point, then it went to, the last 2 years, especially last year, there was like very, very little grip to get around the racetrack. So it was really unique trying to figure out, the best package to be better than your competitors. So I'm definitely going to have to, the atmosphere as well was huge, but, definitely the wore out, hard to get around racetrack was probably one of it.
Yeah, I think for me, the people at Sunset, I mean, a fantastic group of guys staying up here. They're all really nice, really great people. I think the community there was fantastic. My favorite part about the physical racetrack was it's got a high groove, and I find it kind of, for me at least, difficult to find one elsewhere. And when there's two lanes of racing, I mean, you just put on a heck of a show, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it, is figuring out the high groove and having some fun hanging out up there.
I still haven't figured out the fast way around the track, so I'll let you know once I figure that out. But one thing that Sunset was special, what he said with the high groove, Sunset was like Daytona for me. Like it was just my favorite track because of that high groove where you could go three wide past like at Sunset, and it's pretty rare at other tracks.
All right, 2025 Sunset Speedway champions Josh Davenport, Wally Wilson, Coltin Everingham, Jacob Sutcliffe, and Steve Oakes. Thank you for joining me here on the Racing Zone stage.
Thanks for having us.
All right, we're going to continue our conversation over here in the Gulf Race Fuels Racing Zone stage. We are currently being joined by, who we got on stage here? Sorry, guys.
Dawson Drimmie.
And Parker Traves.
How's it going, guys?
It's good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. How's your guys' off season?
It's been a lot busier than the on season. Plowing snow. Obviously, it's been one hell of a
crazy winter this year.
Yes. So definitely looking forward to a break from that and hopping back in the race car.
How about you, Parker?
Busy. Delivering lots of packages in the snow.
How would you guys sum up your seasons in the Ontario Legend Car Series?
I'll take her away. Obviously, we did what our goal was. We ended up winning the championship. It's always nice to win as many races as you can. I didn't do that personally this season. I wanted to win a little bit more, but, running in the top 3, top 2, winning races, ended up getting it done for us this year.
I was going to say 3 wins, 10 podiums, and 15 races. That's pretty good. What does it take to be consistent over the course of a season?
It's honestly just making the best of the bad days. You show up to the track and you don't have the pace to win. You still gotta fight no matter what, and that's what brought it home for us this year.
Now, Parker over here, I know you dabbled in late models for a little bit, correct?
Yeah, I did.
How did that go for you?
It was a struggle.
Yeah.
We ran okay. It's a whole different animal from the Legend car and takes a lot more money and resources than the Legend car, so a lot different.
Now, jumping back into the Legend car, how much more are you having fun jumping back into the Legend car and traveling around?
Yeah, definitely. This was the most fun season I've had. I've been very fortunate to drive for someone this year, and I just have to work on it and race, and I don't have to worry about the finances side of it, so that part stresses me out, but now it's a lot easier.
Back to you here, Dawson. What races stand out for you the most from the 2025 season?
I think being able to get we got a big win at Peterborough, our second win at Peterborough this year. Had some hell of a battle with Mitch Wright. I think Parker, unfortunately, didn't finish that race.
What race was it?
My second win at Peterborough. I forget what the date was. It probably blew up. But, me and Mitch went back and forth a bunch of times. We were really close in the points at the time. I made a last lap pass for the win and, extended our lead a little bit.
Parker, for you, man, how was your season overall? What races stood out for you as well?
I would say opening night for sure. I haven't raced the Legend car in a year. I ran it once when I was racing late models, so to come out opening night and win both double features, that one stands out. And just winning at Sunset, honestly, that place is awesome, and we won a lot there.
Now, one thing for sure is I can attest to this for many, many years. I love Legend cars. I've always loved them. Never got to see them often because, one, I'm at a Flamborough area. That's my home track. So I don't necessarily get to see them all the time. What is it about Legend car racing that is just so much fun?
The car count. You got the car count, and then you got 25 of them out there banging bumpers, and everybody respects each other. So it's just, honestly, I've been in it for 6-7 years now, and I don't know anything else, but it's been an awesome time, battling guys like Parker, battling guys like Mitch. You got guys that have won all over not only Canada, but all over North America. So you're racing the best of the best.
Yeah, pretty much what Dawson said. Like, you race up here, you can go run down in the States and run up front. So racing these guys, they're fast. Dawson, Mitch, Jake, we got a good group up here.
I was going to add there because it's one of the very, very, very few divisions that you can run here in Canada that you can actually go down south and go run. I know, Parker, you've gone down and run. Dawson, have you gone down and run as well?
Yeah, we've gone down the last couple of years. Haven't had the best of luck. We're heading back down this year, and I'm expecting I'm expecting a big year for me this year, like running down that way. But, sometimes you need a little bit of luck and sometimes you need to be really fast. So hopefully those two come together this year.
Going down south and competing with those guys, what's it like to be able to what are the differences that you notice compared to the guys you run weekly, guys and gals you run against weekly up here compared to going down south?
I would say racing down south, there's 30 guys that can win, where up here we have about 5 or 6. And then it's a lot rougher down there. You're throwing elbows and bumpers at each other, and to win down there is very hard. And I've been very fortunate to win at Summer Street out down in Charlotte and run up front down there and run in Vegas. So.
Now, how would you guys compare last season, 2025, to years past? What are some of the differences that you noticed that you're like, man, this is going to be a good year?
Well, you had 26 cars show up every night, and you had 5 different winners throughout the year. In years past, you only had 1 or 2 guys winning every night. And now you got, like Parker said, the top 5 or 6 that can win on any given night. So, it's always got to show up to the track and get ready to go to war.
Yeah, just honestly, like, it's so hard to win now. Like, back when I won my championships in 2023 and 2022, it was pretty well me and Dawson winning every week, and now you got 5 guys that can.
And I only won 1 of them.
And I won the rest.
Now, I know you guys have some marketing partners on your guys' cars. Who do you guys want to give a big thanks to for your 2025 seasons?
Obviously, Trailers Plus, they're my main sponsor, and as well as the series main sponsor. So they do a lot for legend car racing. It's awesome to see them. I got Centerline Hydrovac, Gully Bridge Transportation, Paget Dender Clinic, they're out of Peterborough, and Stickers and Scuffs.
Yeah, and for me, I'd like to thank Stephen Deanna Groove for letting me drive the race car, Canadian Legend Cars, Kevin Ryan Automotive, BW Towing, and I think that's it.
All right, guys. Well, that is your Ontario Legend Car Series champion, semi-pro overall, Dawson Drimmie, and for the pro division, Parker Traves. Give him a round of applause, everybody. All right, we are going to continue our conversations up here for the Night of Champions up on the Gulf Fuels Racing Zone stage. We are currently joined by Bob Bailey, Amber Wallis, Cole McFadden, and Matt Boyes. Guys and gals, how has been your off seasons?
Cold.
I like that. Just one word, cold. It's been very cold this year.
Lots of work. I tore my car right down to the chassis, painted it. Now I got to put it back together.
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Rebuild's the fun. In my opinion, I don't know. I don't work on cars anymore, but to me, rebuilds are always fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Me and my son will go out there and put it back together. It's mostly back together now. It's just still too cold in the garage to finish it. So, got to put the engine back in and stuff. I don't want to put it out in the cold.
That's understandable. Yeah. Amber, how's your off season been?
Yeah, about 2 months in after the last race, I'm chomping at the bit to get back out on the track. Been cleaning up the car a lot and doing some working on the brakes a bit because I was struggling with that last season. Yeah, pretty good. Looking forward to get back on the track.
Cole, how about yourself there? How's your off season been?
It's been okay. Thank you for asking. The winter's obviously hard on all of us. The cold, I can't wait for it to go. That little bit of warm that we had there earlier in the week. Man, so nice. You can almost smell the race fuel. Yeah, a lot of preparation. We have our car listed for sale right now. We're just looking to upgrade to a new one. We do that every couple years.
Yep.
So that'll be good. Obviously go through it, the rebuild stage, as Bob said. Like, that takes up a lot of time and eats up a lot of the winter. Also getting a lot of sim racing in. Since we can't do it, got to keep on your A game so you're back to it come 2026.
And over to Matt here.
Yeah, no, it was a quiet off season this year. We sold the car at the in the fall to prep for this year. So going to switch it up from legend car racing for a little bit now and go a different direction. So kind of looking forward to seeing what this year brings for me.
Now, legend cars are, in my opinion, one of the best divisions to watch because the cars are very similar in style and how you guys drive them. but there's also a huge difference in how you guys drive them. I want to know what is how do you guys prepare to even get behind the wheel of one of these things? Let's start with that.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? What I mean?
Bob doesn't prepare.
How are you guys crazy enough to get behind the wheels of these things? Because I find they're very twitchy. Because I compete, I race them with them in iRacing, and to me, I don't know if I just suck at them or not. But I spin out quite often. I'm going to be honest with everyone. But to me, they always just seem very twitchy. So how do these cars drive for you?
They are twitchy. I ran a Can-Am midget for 5 years, so they're not as twitchy as the TQ midget, but they are a type of car that you have to drive really hard into the corner, even though you talk yourself out of driving it really hard into the corner all the time, for me anyway. But yeah, just go in, pull the belts as tight as you can, and go as hard as you can.
Amber, how about yourself?
Yeah, for me, it's really the first real car that I've driven. I did junior lates a few years ago, so I'm not sure the twitchiness is just normal for me. But yeah, like Bob said, just driving it hard into the corner. I don't know, they're so fun that the adrenaline just kind of takes over and you just let your instincts guide you, so yeah.
So this will be my 15th year racing legend cars this year. So it's kind of a walk in the park, brother. You got to reach down in your pants and remember you're a man or an Amber steak. Just keep wheeling, you know what I mean? They're definitely a harder thing to keep up with. I mean, we all start at the back and work our way up. It doesn't matter what division you're in. Legend cars, they obviously are more difficult, as you said. Practice makes perfect, man. You got to put in that time.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing with legend cars that you see is you see guys leave the legend car series, and whether they go up to a super stock, they go to dirt stuff, they transfer over to late model stuff, they're just really successful. I think that you learn a lot of throttle control. It's a lightweight, short wheelbase car, and you don't have a ton of brakes, you don't have a ton of aero. You're just a real traditional car. So I think a legend car just really builds your ability to control a car, and then as you work up through the series, you just kind of find out that you've developed some really, really great racing skills from it.
Now, for you guys, each of you are separate champions, all within under the banner of the Great Lakes Legends. Bob, you are the Masters champion. How does that Masters championship feel for you?
Well, it's really good. I was racing with a handful of people. So the Masters division is over 35 or over 40. Unfortunately, I'm that age. There's a few other people like that. It's a good core group of people in the Great Lakes Legends that we run with through and through the whole series. And then there's a handful of Masters that we're racing against. So there's basically 4 different divisions running at the same time, but you're still competing for your own or your own series or your own class points. And it just worked out that luck fell on my side.
Amber over here is the Chargers Young Lions champion. Amber, how did that feel for you?
Yeah, there wasn't too many young lions in the series, but we kind of ran together in our own little section, I'd say. Had a really, really good battle with Rylan, Bob's son. We really, really pushed each other further on the track and just to go faster and learn more skills and all of that. So it was great racing against them.
Cole is your pro division champion over there. How did that feel for you, man?
It's good. So this is my 3rd year in a row I've won the pro division for Great Lakes Legends. If you go down to Charlotte and you watch those guys run legend cars, the pro division is what you see Kurt Busch in, or Kyle Busch. Kevin Harvick, you see him, Bumba Wallis. This is the same division that those guys run. I think it's a minimum. Is it 2 or is it 3 years minimum that you need a Legends? 2 years minimum to run the pro division. We're the big dogs, man. We go. We're hard. If you do watch the Charlotte Racing online, you can see like the pro guys are cleaner. You know what I mean? It's not putting these guys down. There's just different classes and all run together. You know what I mean? It's a little bit bigger once you get south of that border. But up here, like Bob said, we all do run together and we all have a great time.
And Matt over here is your semi-pro and overall champion. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, Legend Cars is one of the unique series where you get the opportunity to race not only against your own division, where you kind of have more equally capable competition, but you also get to race on the track with everybody. So, everybody gets an opportunity to race against pros, race against masters, and the young Lions get a chance to be on track with us at times to hone their skills and see how we race. And so it's a really unique racing series that we have 2 series, 4 divisions, and lots of opportunity to race with top of the line competition, people that are just learning, and it's a really friendly and nurturing environment for somebody just trying to learn racing.
And you know what? That is amazing about Legend Cars, that you have 4 different champions, but you guys all competed at the same time, which is phenomenal, because then it gives you, like you said, it gives you guys experience to help better your racecraft as well. Now I know 2 minutes. Okay, so guys, we got 2 minutes left, so that's 30 seconds each. I want you guys to rattle off your marketing partners as quick as you can, starting with Bob. Let's go.
Okay, I'd like to thank Epic Racewear, GSR Glen Stires Racing, Autos 23 Auto Sales in Listowel, Adam Brown Distillery, Bailey Auctions, One Promo.
How many do you got, man?
Yeah, that's it.
I'd like to thank Moonlight Outdoor Lighting, Protect Sprinkler Services, Epic Racewear, Jim Bowman from Remax, Bricks Mortgages, obviously my parents and everyone in my family that helps to make my dream come true.
Cole McFadden, number 20, Yellow Grassroots Racing, Timberfelt, Brass Inc., Wilds Printing, US Legend Car. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
And Matt Boys, number 78, won't be at a Legend Car anymore, but this was my final year being sponsored by Green Tractors. Be moving forward with Premier Equipment, another John Deere dealership. We have JF Enterprises. I have my sponsor here with me today. I have Rob's Used Rubbers. He's also here today. And Image Wraps as well for keeping our car looking spotless all year.
All right, guys, thank you so much, and congratulations on your championship. Give it up for them, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're watching our Night of Champions interviews from here at the Golf Race Fuels Racing Zone, presented by Stonebridge Specialty Insurance at Motorama and streaming live on TrackTune. We got a family affair here on stage right now. We got a couple of 2025 champions, Tyler Hawn from the Oscar Hot Rods and Daniel Hawn from the Can-Am Midget Series. So we'll start with Tyler. In the Oscar Hot Rods, you had 4 wins, 7 podiums, and top 10s in all 10 races. And you won your 3rd straight series title there, and the wins as well, 3 in the last 5 races, getting some marquee events in there. How would you sum up your season?
Well, it was a pretty good season. We're always working to make ourselves better and faster, and we just had a good year. We did our goal was to win the Oscar Championship and the Sunset Championship, and we got our goal, and we're pretty happy with that.
For Daniel, you won in the Can-Am TQ Midgets with 5 wins, 11 podiums, 12 top 5s in 12 races. So impressive stats there as well. 5 wins in a 6-race stretch as well, and your 3rd straight series title too. So how would you sum up your season?
We had an incredible season. The competition in the midgets is pretty tough, and I helped my 2 best friends, James Stanley and Darren McClellan, to also try and beat me. So to be able to get those wins, and James picked up 4 wins in an HMCW chassis, and Darren picked up the last one at Flamborough. So really there was only 2 wins outside of HMCW, so I'm extremely proud as a chassis builder with that as well.
Having this continued success for the both of you, both winning in the Touring Series for the 3rd straight season, how would you compare 2025 to seasons past?
I think 2025 to seasons past, we always have struggles. You're always going to have struggles, but the more you do it, the easier the struggles are to deal with. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just a really good season, and I don't really know.
I think it starts to get a little bit easier the more that you do it. Again, we put in the amount of time that we put into our cars. We expect to be up the front. We expect to be winning, and when we don't, it eats up at you enough to where you work even harder to make sure that you're not having that feeling and you're the one holding that checkered flag.
For the both of you sort of working together, I know I remember from, I believe it was the Delaware, the points finale for Oscar, where Tyler, I was interviewing you for winning a championship, and Daniel was getting ready to pop the champagne afterwards. So you're working together throughout the season, and I have a feeling that you have at least some differences in personality. So what's that dynamic like working together as brothers?
It's funny, I just was saying to him earlier, he's more like the calm water and I'm more of the burning fire. So he always is the one calming me down, and I think I'm the opposite. I'm always the one trying to get him fired up to get that little bit more out of him. I think that's basically what our dynamic is. He's the calm one, I'm the fiery one.
Yeah, we build off each other too, like if he has a bad night or if I have a bad night, we support each other and we get through it. I get wrecked, he comes and helps me. He gets wrecked, I go and help him. It's a family deal. And we've been doing this a long time. Our dad was the exact same. He'd help a lot of people out. I've heard stories here all weekend of older fellas coming up about Pinecrest days and dad helping them out, getting their cars ready or set up and all that kind of stuff. So it just, and at the end of the day, we do this for dad. We know that he'd be super jacked up for us.
Yeah, you mentioned there your dad, Donnie the Bear Hawn. He passed away in 2017, but had 50 years of stock car racing under his belt. So definitely starting the family legacy that now you two are continuing today. So how much of an inspiration was your dad's career towards your own racing career?
Honestly, man, we do it for him. Like we do it to keep his legacy going. And same with him. If it wasn't for who my father was, we would not be the people we are today. And it just means so much to us that we are able to be or do good, winning championships, winning features, building what we have even to the next level. If he was here, if he was here this weekend, he'd be here right here with us, sitting by the car, talking to people, having a good time. Yeah,
I was always the one in the shop working on the car. I've only been racing for a short period of time. I think about maybe 7 or 8 years, and the only reason why I got into a race car is because about 8 years ago with the Pro Midgets, I had someone that offered me to just race one of their cars at Varney, and I remember I asked my dad how I did, and he just did 30-second lap times, buddy. You got to do better, and then gave me some advice, and then I went out there. I knew I was doing good because he was up at the fence with his stopwatch like he always was, and had an ear or a grin ear to ear. And I remember Tyler telling me a story. He goes, I just didn't think he had it in him, and then here I go. I'm a 2-time Oscar Pro Midget champion, a 3-time Can-Am champion, and in the last 5 years, I haven't finished less than second place in the points. So I think I've just proved that our dad's blood is in us, and I'm super excited to get on the next chapter of my career.
And you two are both so heavily involved hands-on on these race cars with the long working hours. And so, what lessons did you learn sort of growing up and learning with your dad that you're able to carry forward to working in the shop today?
Well, one thing is, you got to do your own work. Not to talk negatively or anything about chassis builders and all that, but there's only so many people out there that can spend thousands and thousands of dollars getting work done to their vehicles or their race cars, right? Where we do all our own work, all our fab work, welding, machining, everything is done by us. If we need something fixed or we need something made, it's going to take a lot for us not to do it ourselves.
Yeah, with both of our backgrounds, me being a machinist and millwright, and Tyler being a welder and millwright, when we get money, we don't necessarily dump it in the cars. We buy equipment to be able to make our own equipment or to make our own parts for our cars. And I think that's how we do so well, is we don't have to go spend, $3,000-$4,000 at Velocity race cars or McCall's, where we spend the money to get our equipment to build our own stuff, which also helps our friends' programs because it just trickles down to those guys as well.
So I'm not too familiar with the overall history for the TQ Midgets as far as on the websites, but on the Oscar site I could see it since the inaugural season of the Hot Rods in 2017. For Tyler, your second most starts, only 3 behind Steve Book, the most wins by a considerable margin, the most top 5s, second most top 10s in the series. So how does it feel to be among those top names in this history book of what's becoming sort of a long series? It's been around for almost a decade.
It's a lot, man. It just shows how hard we work and how much we want to keep doing better. You know, and like if we're not running in top 3, we got to seriously sit back and figure out what the heck is going on. And then that's when he comes into it. You know, we'll sit down and be like, what do we got to figure out here? Like, what's going on? Like, what do we got to do? And we just build off that. You know, like we just got to keep pushing to be the top guy. You know, and that's what makes it exciting for us.
I've been lucky enough to be able to be a car chief on Tyler's car and be able to call the setup shots and basically I don't even listen to him. I just watch the car because he'll tell me one thing and I'll be like, yeah, and then I'll do my own thing and we just keep getting faster. And I couldn't be more proud of Tyler and what he's accomplished in that Hot Rod Series. And there's not more stand-up guy that deserves the win and accolades that he has in this series.
And I know we talk a lot already here about the work in the shop, but like, and I'm sure that'll play into this answer, but, you know, having this 3 straight years touring series championships for both of you and having the success dating back for like, you know, a decade at least in these series, what is the key to that continued success to be able to do it year in, year out?
Just hard work, man. Just, you know, you go to your job, you got to work the overtime that you have to work to be able to afford to be able to do this, and just learning how to build a body, learning all this stuff. Like every year we build a body on the hot rod, you got to change a little bit. You got to make things a little better, a little easier to fix when they get smashed up. You know, and like same on the TQ stuff. Like you gotta improve every single year on everything, and then you become a perfectionist. You know, you have to be proud of what you put out.
Yeah, one of my TQ midget guys I've met down in the States, he said race cars love to be worked on. And that's the truth. If you're not evolving and you're staying stagnant, you're not going to be winning. And sometimes you got to go backwards to go forwards. And luckily enough that we haven't gone too much backwards. And yeah, it just if you're not putting the time in the shop and you're leaving your race car in the trailer, those are the guys that are complaining and calling you cheaters. Those are the guys that leave their cars in the trailer till Thursday night and pull it out and start working on it.
And now going back to looking at last season in particular, was there any race that sort of stood out to you for both of you against the others in your respective series?
For me, it was finally getting to Peterborough Speedway. The last 4 years, it got rained out every year, and that's the one that I've won every racetrack multiple times in the midget, and that was the one that got away. So when we got to go there, I had a conversation with Tyler's crew chief, Sander, right before the feature, and I just said, we're going to be extraordinary tonight because there's no way no one's beating us. And we put on a clinic there, and that is a race I'll always remember for the rest of my life.
For me, I'd have to say there's 2 of them. The Zardo Memorial Race at the start of the year at Flamborough. Bill Zardo and my dad were really good buddies back in the day. They did a lot of racing together. They both team drove down at the Marty Robbins 500 down in Nashville. A lot of good stories. So like winning that race is probably right on the top of the list of all-time races to win. And I'd say ACC at Peterborough. I love Peterborough, and nothing's better than winning a championship and also winning the last feature of the year to win that championship. You know, and it's like all the races are fun, and it's hard to pick like one race. So like if I had to pick one, I'd say the Zardo Memorial Race.
And for you guys as well, you've been in your respective series now for a few years. So how would you describe your car, A, and B, what you like most about the car and series?
With my car, the most I like about it is it is easy to drive. It's been a really good car to us. Like we've had this car for 8 years now. We've done a lot of work to it. We keep updating it, doing all the good stuff, and yeah, it's just a fun car to drive.
I'd say for me is the speed. I pretty much built the car from ground up. It's probably one of the older cars in the club, some parts of it, but we've updated it, made it safer. But I've set track records in that car with the midgets. I don't know what it is. I just have a knack for the open wheel stuff, and like I'm moving up to the Oscar hot rods. I've spent some time in the super stocks, but there's nothing that carries the speed other than a super late model as a TQ midget.
And that segues into my last question for both of you of what your plans are for 2026.
My plans are, just like last year, go out and go for another championship. You know, that's always a goal of mine, but we got my brother set up now with another hot rod that we're currently building, and I can't wait to beat the fenders off him.
Yeah, I'm super excited to share the track with my brother, but he'll be in for a rude awakening come the first practice session of the year when he realizes that my car will be a little faster, so he's going to have to work a little harder next year. He's racing against me, so I'm going to spend a lot of time with James Stanley. He's my best friend. He's my number one supporter, and I really want him to come home with the Can-Am Midget Championships in 2026. We're gonna make it tough on him. We'll probably run about 4 or 5 races, but my main focus is the hot rod, beating this guy here beside me, and trying to get James that championship. He definitely earns it.
Yeah, how's that going to work? You two have been working so well together. Now you're having a pit against each other.
We're going to have a couple sets of boxing gloves in the trailer, so hopefully they don't come out, but we'll see what happens.
No, I think it's going to be good. I think our dad would be so proud. I'm one of the cleanest racers you would ever meet, and Tyler's probably, I always say I'm the fire, but he's probably a little bit more aggressive on the track. But when I see that number 2 car, it's not Tyler. It's just another competitor. So he says he's going to beat the fenders off me, but those rear bumpers is just going to be done. So.
Well, it will definitely be a fun battle of the Hawn brothers this season in the Oscar Hot Rods. But for tonight, a chance to celebrate 2025 for Tyler Hawn, Oscar Hot Rods champion, and Daniel Hawn, Can-Am Tiki Midgets champion. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Good time.
Continuing here with our Night of Champions interviews, I'm joined now by Mike Norris, the 2025 Ontario Pro Challenge champion. 3 wins, 17 podiums in 18 races. How would you sum up your season?
It was pretty good. I mean, I had a good start the season. I went 3 in a row, and then I never really finished worse than 3rd all year, so that was good. I just tried to stay consistent and stay at the front and get an interview at the end of the night. And then had a rough one at the end, came 7th, but that didn't really matter to me.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, with those wins, those 3 wins, all coming in the first 4 races of the season, and then most of the victories after that went to your family members. Yeah. So what was the biggest difference between the start and as the season continued?
I got lucky on some starts and restarts at the beginning of the year that as the year progressed I got unlucky with and kind of just got stuck. I mean, I like passing on the outside, like passing on the inside, but sometimes you just in 25 laps you just can't get enough done.
So how would you describe that championship battle down the stretch in the season?
Realistically, I don't really look at the points until the last 3 races of the year, because it doesn't really mean anything to me. I race to have fun and enjoy it with my family and friends and everybody I race with. But the last 2 races of the year, it's like, oh, okay, now it's go time kind of thing, right? You know, gotta have some fun, and I mean, it was good. I mean, I knew I had to stay consistent right to the very end, and I thought I did pretty good at that and had some fun.
Yeah, and your second series championship joining 2022 when you had 7 wins and won it as a 19-year-old. So how did it feel to reclaim that championship?
It felt really good. I mean, who doesn't love winning though, right? Like it's a great feeling. But no, this year was. I felt after the first one, I needed a. If you win it once, everyone can say it's a fluke, but if you win it twice, it's a guarantee. So I winning the second one really put the cherry on top for me, and I hope to get another one.
How would you compare those 2 titles?
The first one was a little bit different because I was battling with my dad in points all year, and then we went on a mountain biking trip, and he broke his wrist. So he still raced the rest of the season with a broken wrist, but he wasn't nearly as fast as he couldn't hold on the steering wheel. So that one, it still meant a lot, don't get me wrong, that I won, but it wasn't the same as this year where I beat him all straight up, no funny business going on.
Yeah, so you mentioned they're racing with your dad, Tim, and sister Emma. So they finished 2nd and 3rd in the points there as well. What is it like competing against your dad and sister each week?
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I mean, sometimes we get those awkward dinners where no one wants to say anything because we're all mad at each other. And I will say it does suck losing to my sister more than anything because it's like every week we're chirping each other and hard on each other. Oh, you got to do this better, you got to do this better. And then all of a sudden things happen. It's like, hey, you did that better, and now you just kick my ass. Right, so it sucks, but it's like
rivalry.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. It's a great thing, and I love racing against my family. They race hard, and it's just a great thing to be a part of.
Yeah, what's that dynamic like in the shop and at the racetrack as far as how much you're helping each other versus trying to beat each other?
That depends on the day. Sometimes we're all in and helping each other out, and sometimes it's like, I don't want to be anywhere near you right now because I'm trying to beat you this weekend. But no, usually beginning of the year we're all about helping getting the cars ready and stuff, but then as the year goes on we're kind of do our own thing because not everyone's cars need the same thing. Now obviously if my sister or me wrecks something or my dad wrecks something, we'll help each other out with that. It's not like we're not helping each other out the whole time, but we stayed pretty clean this year and didn't really have to worry about that much, so it was good for that.
So you've been around now for a few years here in this series. What do you like most about the Ontario Pro Challenge?
Realistically, it's cheap. It's expensive to get into, but once you're running, it's very, like, I pay for it all myself, and I'm only 23 right now, and I pay for everything. I get my own sponsors and stuff, so it's not a big race car like team where everything's super expensive, and like it's expensive, but it's not doable. So that's I like that part the most about it. And the other thing I like is everyone's got the same car. The frames are the same, the suspension's the same, engines are the same, rear gear is the same. The only thing that's different is the driver and the setup on the car. So you can't really change much. So when you beat somebody, you beat the driver, you didn't beat the car, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it comes down a lot to the driver's skill, I guess, stuff like the line around the track.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of tracks, I know Flamborough Speedway is the main track that they race at on a regular basis, but you get to travel sometimes too. If I remember correctly, I believe it was Sauble that was one of the tracks, and that Brad Holmes had mentioned to me in an interview that it's like the Ontario Pro Challenge, the group would sort of do a track walk to see and check it out in the morning. So what is I guess your favorite track, and how would you compare the different tracks on the schedule?
I would say it's a whole lot of, every track is different. I mean, Flamborough is my home track. I live 2 minutes down the road from it. I've raced there since I started. It's been my favorite, just because I've put tens of thousands of laps in at that track. It's my backyard. I love it. Sauble is hard to drive. Sauble is a hard track to drive because there's not a lot of banking, and if you miss the line, you miss the line by a lot. It's not very forgiving. I've raced at Sunset, Varney, Peterborough, Delaware. I've raced at every track in Ontario, and I like Peterborough. It's fun. Delaware is crazy in our cars because the speeds we're going there is just an absolute blast. But yeah, I'd have to say Flamborough is my favorite, just because I know it like back of my hand, so I can't really not say it's my favorite.
And I guess it's the home track too. Yeah. That's always sentimental. Yeah. So you'll be able to celebrate the championship here in just a short time from now with the Night of Champions, and then before we know it, it'll be the start of another race season. So what are your plans for 2026?
Well, I still got to finish my car. I've been playing a lot of hockey and stuff in the off season, and it's just been put on the back burner. I forgot about it, but a couple more hours in the shop, we'll have it all done, ready to go, and just looking to go have some fun. I mean, I don't really have anything to prove other than just go out and try to win some races and have some fun with some friends.
All right, Mike Norris, 2025 Ontario Pro Challenge champion. Thanks for speaking with me.
All right, we're going to continue our conversation over here in the Gulf Racing Fuels at the racing stage. We got the 2025 Oscar Modified Champion. We are being joined right now by Steve Trendell. Steve, how's it going?
It's going good.
I really hope I said your last name right. I think I screw it up.
Everybody says it every way. That's fine. But no, it's going good. It's busy down here. There's lots of interest in the racing, like in our zone. So that's good. That's all you can ask for, to have all these people out seeing their interest in it. And we haven't been here in probably over 20 years. So it's our first year back with our car, and we're having fun with it.
And you know what? That's the main part about this, is to be here to have fun. Because it is first of all, it's a very, very busy weekend. Saturday is absolutely nuts. But you have your car actually over here in the United Racing Series booth, if I'm not mistaken. Or Oscar Group,
booth,
sorry. Yeah. And obviously last year you had, we got 1 win, 7 podiums, and 7 starts. And the win was at the Peterborough race, which, by the way, I think I was at that race. I've said this before. That is the nastiest I've ever seen a car exit center off coming off of 4 there. This guy could just pull like 2 car lengths each time he came out of turn 4. It was absolutely nuts. Let's talk about that win though. How was it for you?
That was great. I've won at Peterborough before in a hobby car, but that was pretty much 20 years to the day that I won in a hobby car. So just just going in there, I just wanted to get out of there with a good finish. And once we bolted the we had the option to put 4 tires on it, and they're not going to say no to 4 tires. So we bolted those on and went out for our first heat race. And my God, I knew right away we had something good. And then, the feature was just I had to bide my time to get by Jason Keane, and I found something in 3 and 4 where I could just ease up a little bit and get on it before him. And he slipped up. I got under him, and they threw the caution. I looked up at the board and I saw Jason in second. And I looked over and I could see him on the back straightaway, and it was kind of mind-boggling how far out I got.
Like I said, like it was. I can only imagine what it was like in the car for you, but up in the grandstand, I was watching it. I could not get over how your car got center off. Like I said, it was next level, absolutely insane. But obviously, running with the Oscar Modifieds, it's a great series. It's a nice traveling series across the province. You had stops at last year. You were at Sunset, Sauble, no Varney, correct? Or was
we went to Varney.
Varney, Delaware, and Flamborough. Yeah. Out of all those tracks, which one is one of your favorites?
It's got to be Varney Motor Speedway. It's a driver's track, man. Like you got to be on it. There's no for a 40-lap feature. There's no spot you can take a break. Like you come up out of the hill out of 2, and then you go back down the hill downhill into 3, and it's just you throw it into 1 and 2. There's so much banking there. It's you don't stop working for the whole time you're out on the track, and I never used to like it, but it has quickly become one of my favorite tracks to go to.
So obviously winning the 2025 Oscar Modified Champion, what was that like for you? How did you feel with picking up the championship last year?
I was shocked. I went into Delaware with an 8-point lead on Dale Reinhardt, and pretty much thought I had it wrapped up, and I did everything I could to throw it away. We had issues in practice. We had an issue in the heat race where we got tangled up, and we had to start near the back, and Dale won his heat. Dale won the feature, and I was running like 6th or 7th with 4 to go when we had a caution, and when the checker flag flew, I somehow ended up finishing second. I think I won it by 1 point over Dale.
Holy, that is insane. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this isn't your only championship that you've picked up, has it?
No, I won one in CVM in 2018.
That's where I thought as well. Which one is better? I got to ask this one because I do work with the CVM, so I know you're a big part of it.
It's got to be the CVM one. Like I started in that series in 2002 when I was 14, so I was at it for a long time, and to wait 16 years to get a championship, like that one was more gratifying. Like I went into that night behind in points, and I made a last lap pass on the points leader and tied the points up. And then I won the second feature, which won me the championship by 1 point. So,
oh wow!
I've been on both ends of it, but like in the CVMs, I've lost the championship every which way you could have. I got to go with the CVM championship.
Now, obviously, moving when you have a pathway like CVM to Oscar Modified, now the cars are very different in the sense of body length and style and everything like that. But what's been one of the biggest challenges for continuously getting better each time you got out in the modified?
It's just setup-wise. Like with the CVM, when we ran it, it was very traditional suspension. You couldn't do very much to it. And then we got it modified. We run coil-over shocks. We run control arms. Like there's a lot of moving parts to it, right? So it's just staying on top. With the hobby car, we just got into that rhythm where we showed up to the track. We did 5 laps of practice and waited for the races to start. Like it's just one of those things, right? And my last couple of years, we ran Flamborough only, and I liked Flamborough, but I did not enjoy racing at one track only. So it was getting back out onto the road so I could travel around, race different, and that's what I like. I like traveling. It makes you a better race car driver when you can go to 4 or 5 different racetracks and you're not just focused in on one track week after week.
And it really is, because I've always enjoyed traveling, because I think it gets you guys out there. It gets you trying different disciplines. And I find even as traveling, you don't settle. Like you may think you settle, but from what I see is that you guys truly never settle, because you're always having to change something to get better for the next time out.
It's always different when you go track to track. Like, it's just you're constantly learning when you go track to track. Like, our notebooks are different each time we go to a track. Like, even Delaware twice in the same year, it's completely different, because you're in the summer heat and then you go back in the fall and it's nice and cool. So the track's way different, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a learning game.
Obviously, with coming into this season as the defending champion, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to for getting back on track and competing? I know you're going full time. I heard again.
That's the plan right now. We'll see how the season starts out, but that is the plan, to go full time again and defend our title. And I think we're actually going to probably go down to New York State and run with our backup car that we have, and go run a couple races down there during our layoff. But my main goal is to try and win a championship again.
Sounds good. Well, before we let you go here, I know you have a couple of marketing partners on your car you should probably thank.
Yeah.
Who do you want to give a shout out to?
First and foremost, it's Tyler Liscombe from Overkill Enterprise. He's a series sponsor of the Modifieds, but he's also a personal sponsor of ours, and he makes it happen behind the scenes for us. I got to thank OK Tire, Guelph, Grisdale Racing Products, 519 Tint, Nick and the guys up in Kitchener at 519 Tint. They were our first sponsor last year. They graciously came back this year, so that's good. And then my dad, because without my dad, none of this happens. It's a running joke. I don't work on the car, and I stand in my doorway into the garage, and I'll watch him work on it, and I'll go back in the house. It's better for everybody if I just watch and don't help.
All right, everyone. Well, that is your 2025 Overkill Enterprise Oscar Modified Champion, Steve Trendell. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to continue on with our Night of Champions special here in the Gulf Fuels Racing Zone up on the stage. Currently, we are being joined by the 2025 Dayco Superstock, as well as the 2025 Flamborough Steel City Rumble Series Superstock Champion. We got Lane Zardo. Lane, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. I didn't realize we were on video. How's my hair look?
It looks really good, actually.
Yeah, I got a face for radio. So.
Trust me, so do I.
Yeah.
We're all good here. Congratulations on the double championship last year. I know you got a really fast car. You're a top notch. No matter where you offload, you're really quick. But obviously competing in two different series. How did that go for you last year?
Yeah, man. I mean, all the praise kind of goes to the Best of Forest Products, Montgomery Ford team. You know, Kenny Grubb, Chuck Dorr, Brad Widow, Jordy Bester. They do all the preparation to get the car there. Some people kind of try to guff me a little bit being a suitcase driver, but I like that's every race car driver's dream, man. I show up to the racetrack, the car's not only unloaded, but it's warmed up. They do all the work, they do all the preparation. I'm literally just the stunt dummy who just gets to take the wheel and see if it goes fast or not, and almost every single time it does go fast. And Flamborough's was my home track. Every time I go to Flamborough, I kind of get in the zone. That car likes Flamborough, and then getting a tour around the province with those boys as well. It's really cool, especially they got that open trailer and whatnot, a little bit of an old school feel. It's a great team to be a part of.
I was going to say, nothing beats an open trailer heading to the racetrack because, one, not only does your marketing partner still get a great view of the car, but the people driving by could go, what the hell's that? And we're going to follow it right to the racetrack. Now, obviously, two different divisions, but obviously they collide in the sense of not only would you go to run Dayco, but then you would come back around Flamborough. So Flamborough and Dayco crossed over at Flamborough. Obviously, what was that like to be able to compete alongside the guys that you do compete with in the Superstock, but then weekly go against like Justin Coltin and those guys with the Steel City?
So we actually had I wouldn't necessarily call it a rules meeting this year, but we had a little bit of a meeting to kind of figure out how to try to make that series a little bit better. And one of the major things that came out of that meeting was something that I tried to suggest, which I'm very proud of. It was one of my ideas, and it's when we go to a racetrack and 90% of the home track cars aren't there, that's a problem. So I brought it up at the meeting, and this year it's mandatory for when the Dayco Series comes to Flamborough Speedway. That is also home track points race for Flamborough Speedway. When Dayco Series goes to Delaware Speedway drivers, if they're competing for the championship, they're going to have to be there. Same with Peterborough Speedway. And then Saba obviously doesn't have their own Superstock schedule, but it's just going to make that racing that much better. And a lot of people kind of might think that if they're not racing for our Touring Series championship, it could kind of, sometimes when you have somebody coming out like the last race of the year for a special or whatever, it could kind of mess up the championship run.
Yeah.
But man, I'm a race car driver. I'd rather be doing good in a race and wreck out of 30 cars than finish top 5 out of 7 cars. I'm a race car driver. I want to race against as many cars as possible. I haven't gotten a chance to race against Trevor Colliver at Delaware in a long time, and he's the best at Delaware, so I want to make sure I do that. I haven't gotten a chance to race against Kyle Gordon at Peterborough in a long time.
Yep.
For you to be the best in the province, you got to race against the best, and it sucks when you show up to their home track and they're not there. So I'm very excited for that this year.
And that's the big unfortunate as well, is when you do have those guys who set out and don't compete with when the Touring Series comes there. Does that kind of also play with the tire game as well? Because I don't know much about the rules for the super stock, so if you can help me enlighten me here. Do you have to purchase a set of tires for the race, or can you run something that's in your inventory?
So that was the hardest thing to kind of. We have a tire rule.
Yep.
So you're allowed. I don't know the exact number, but let's say if I run Flamborough Speedway, I'm allowed to buy 6 tires and put them in my inventory on the first race. And then after 2 weeks, I'm allowed 1 tire, and then a few weeks, 1 tire. So you're only allowed to race with that many tires throughout the year. Same as the Dayco Superstocks. You're only allowed a certain allotment of tires. So that's the one thing they're still trying to figure out, is when we come to Flamborough with the Dayco Series, what tires do I have to run and what tires does everybody else have to run? If they're only a Flamborough car and they're not competing with Dayco, if they're only Dayco and not competing with Flamborough, tires make a car go fast. That's what puts our 3,000-pound machine on the ground.
Yeah.
So tires make the biggest difference. So it's going to be tough to figure out how to make it fair, but I don't know. I'm interested to see what they're going to do about it. But like I said, all I care about is full car fields. All I care about is a cool picture for Facebook, showing 20 cars at a racetrack, having a lot of people in the grandstands. If I don't like winning with no fans in the grandstands.
Yeah.
I'd rather finish 10th and have
a full packed house.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you do have. I want to jump a little bit here, but you do have a really, really beautiful. I think it's Thunderbird.
Yeah, it's a 62 Thunderbird.
You have a beautiful looking Thunderbird here, sitting in the back corner of the Racers Corral here. It is a throwback scheme to your grandfather from his first CASCAR championship. Was that or for his CASCAR championship? Was that correct, or
not just his first CASCAR championship, but the
first one,
first CASCAR, the first NASCAR Canada championship there ever was. It's pretty cool. I got the trophy over there. The trophy's about 45 years old.
Now, what was the reason to building this hot rod? And I know you guys have built a hot rod in the past, the Superbird. Your grandfather raced one as well. But what was specifically about this one that you were like, this is a car that I want to build for it?
Honestly, I had a few different options for different cars, and the Thunderbird was probably one of the ugliest cars. But I looked at a bunch of photos of how people would modify them, and the Thunderbird turned out to be really cool. If you chop the roof, if you put fender flares on it, do a bunch of cool stuff like that. So we went with that. Got it for $500. Sold the windshields out of it for $400. Sold the steering box out of it for $500. Sold a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff out of it for $800, and then I had a free body. So kind of worked out that way. Went with that paint scheme to. I've always heard my dad talk about that paint. The green is a 1972 Cadillac blue-green fire mist. That's the color code. So he's got that nailed in his head. And I don't know why we keep on going back with the hot rod. It's just I'm in racing because of my grandfather, but I don't feel my grandfather at the racetrack. I've kind of developed my own path. I have my own friends and whatnot. But with that car, I don't know, man. He was my best friend. He gave me everything. He's the reason why I've never had to buy a 7/16 wrench. So I got to do something. I got to do something to give a tribute to the guy that taught me everything. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but he was the biggest asshole I knew to me as well. He was a tough dude on me, but he gave me everything. So it's really nice to be able to do that tribute to him. And it gives me pride because I'm able to build that car. When I drive that 36 Superstock, like I said, it's the crew that does that. They deserve all the applause. I just get the adrenaline rush. But if I ever do win in that hot rod that I built, my shirt's coming off, and I can't promise that my pants are staying on either, man. I'm going to be so jacked up.
All right. Well, Thank you, Lane, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Congratulations on the dual championships last year. That is everyone. That is Lane Zardo, the 2025 Dayco Superstocks and the Flamborough Steel City Rumble Series Superstock champion. Thanks, Lane.
Yep.
Continuing here with our Night of Champions interviews at Motorama and streaming live on TrackTune. I'm joined now by Josh Stade, APC Series champion with the late models. Your first Series championship, 1 win, and 9 top 5s in 9 races. How would you sum up your season?
Yeah, I mean, pretty unbelievable. Right off the hop, a lot of people were like, what's it going to take to win the championship? And right off the hop, I was like, I think it's going to be consistency. Went out opening night, won opening night, and then we were just consistently in the top 5. Wish I had a little more speed in a few races. We lost a little bit of speed halfway through the summer, but still managed to salvage those top 5 finishes and ultimately bring it home.
Yeah, that's a good point there. The win coming early in the season and then having to rely on those, top 5 finishes. How important was that consistency?
I feel like it's everything. I mean, there was a couple nights. Like there was one night we had a slow rad leak in Sauble. We got in an early tangle, if you will, 20 laps into the race, and the water temp was screaming through the roof. I didn't know if the motor was going to hold on. We had a slow water leak, but we managed to salvage a top 5 out of that, and I ultimately feel like it's those runs that win you the championship, because if we would have taken that, not maybe risked it, we would have ultimately not been in the hunt for the championship at the end.
So an interesting one there, and the title battle was a close one throughout the season. You ultimately won by just 6 points over Jake Sheridan, Shea Gemmell, Kyle Steckley, Dale Shaw also in the mix. So how would you describe that battle for the championship?
Yeah, Jake was tough. He unloaded fast everywhere. It seemed like that car just had speed ultimately. Shea is always a quick competitor, but I mean that's the APC series as a whole. Everyone, I mean that's just the top 5 in points. But one little situation on the racetrack can take you out of the points hunt because it's such a short series. Especially this year, I think it's only 8 races or 9 or whatever it is. But I feel like you just need to be in the hunt all the time. But yeah, it came down to those 5 or us 5 drivers and. I don't know. I didn't have the speed of Delaware. I think I was 16th quickest in practice out of the 32 cars. A little disappointed in my last run effort, but then come race time, we were running in the top 5 where we need to be and staying out of trouble. So ultimately, I felt like my team did a great work this summer, and we all clicked and got it done.
Yeah, that was a wild one. Always a 300-lapper to end the season, so that can be a battle of attrition as it turned out to be last year with different wrecks and different incidents. So it seemed to be a little bit of a back and forth, even just within that race itself. So how would you describe that finale?
Yeah, the finale's tough because at Delaware, as a 300-lap race, it's almost advertised like it's an invitational event. So you have guys that run in the series, if it's 20 or 24 drivers, competing weekly for a championship, and then you have other guys step in like J.R. Fitzpatrick and DJ Kennington, who are also really good runners, running at the front, so that could affect the points. But ultimately, we had one game plan going into that race, and that was keep the nose clean. You can't win anything if you're not there at the end. So ultimately, goal number 1 was let's finish all 300 laps on the lead lap. And goal number 2 was hopefully we can stay out of trouble and not get into those situations and make ourselves vulnerable. And I felt like Joe Chisholm is actually a lot to thank for that, my spotter. He was pretty cool, calm and collected on the radio, and would let me get single file to a point where I didn't really have to push my efforts. And that's ultimately what it came down to, and that's what we did.
So the consistency that we talk about, it goes beyond just 2025. You only have 3 career wins, but a top 5 in the standings now for the 4th straight year. So what does that say about your driving style?
I think it's more than just the driving style. I like the extended long races. They seem to be, I like them personally, and it just seems to suit my driving style. But I think ultimately it's the team. Honestly, you can't do it without people, and with the 17 and Stade Motorsports, we just have a great bunch of people that are surrounding us, both financially and as part of the crew, and it's volunteer. Like, these people are putting their lives on hold to come racing with me and have families at home and whatnot, so really appreciate everyone's help that comes out and helps the 17, and I think it shows that we're a force to be reckoned with, and we can compete for wins every time we hit the track.
You've raced in this series since it started in 2015, have competed in all 95 starts, so got the Ironman streak going here in the APC series. What's the biggest challenge in keeping a streak like that alive?
Yeah, I believed in the series right from day one. It was just, I like the model, I like the traveling circuit, I like learning. So for me, it gave me an opportunity when they first opened the traveling series to go to these tracks I never went to before. Ultimately, year number one, we thought, if we could make every race, at that time there was quite a few cars. It was never a guarantee that you were in the show, and we qualified every race and ran every race. And then the year after, we got a little more serious about it, and we just kind of stuck with it ever since. So APC is definitely, my family owns a couple of APC auto parts stores. I know the family really well with the APC family and everyone involved with Canusa. So it was a pretty easy sell for me. And then, we've stuck with it. I believe in it. I think it's great for the sport. G-Force TV coverage. The sponsors are getting what they need with the TV coverage and the shows like Motorama and whatnot. So just always been a believer of APC and will be until the day it ends.
You've had increased success in recent years, as we've mentioned, with those top points finishes. What was the key to that increase in success?
I've had a lot of great mentors along the year. Brian McDonald was a huge part of my racing way back in the day. I've switched over to McCall Racing, I want to say in 2019. That was a huge part of my success. Became friends with Paulie and Joe and everyone at the shop, and I kind of owe it to them. They build fast race cars, but ultimately just trying to get as much seat time as I can. Anyone that follows my racing lately, we're starting to do a lot more bucket list stuff. So just come back from Speed Weeks in New Smyrna, learning a new track, running in the top 5 consistently there. I've done Nashville, I've done Riverside. So I feel like we've been trying to do a pretty good job of just kind of keeping me in the seat and trying new things as we can with the sponsorship. I mean, obviously these don't run on air, they run on money. So if I can get the marketing support to do that stuff and keep me in the seat, I'll just keep doing it.
The APC series, I believe in their booth they have the trophy on display, and it's a big championship trophy. And, coming at the end of a prestigious event in the Great Canadian Race Weekend, to be able to celebrate that title, how did it feel?
It was unbelievable, man. Like you said, I've been in the series. I'm one of the only guys that's run every race, and I've had a lot of bad luck, and I've had some good luck, and just last year was a phenomenal year. We got 5 wins, not all in APC. We only got 1 APC win, but, just getting out of the car, the raw emotion of holding that trophy, just now it's on there forever. My name is on that trophy, whether I win a championship again there or not. But just being able to get out of the car and see all the sponsors and my family and my kids and just share that moment with them, and then obviously capture that moment with the pictures. And obviously, those are memories that I'm going to cherish the rest of my life. I'm known as a All-Ontario Traveling Series winner. So, sometimes it's hard because it doesn't hit you the same every time you talk about it. It's pretty unreal, especially when you look at APC. There's just so many great drivers, and there's a lot of resources, a lot of talent, and ultimately to be number one is absolutely amazing.
And you'll get to celebrate once again here on stage here in just a few minutes. Looking ahead to this season, what are your plans for 2026?
Yeah, we've got a few more bucket list races that we'd like to do. I think Owasso being one of those if we can make it work in the schedule. But obviously we're going to try and defend our title with APC again this year. I'm looking forward to coming back home to Sauble Speedway and running there for a championship. Just trying to stay in our schedule hasn't really changed. We have the same amount of races. I used to race at Sunset quite a bit, so I kind of took those 6 or 7 races and I'm taking them back home. Sauble's only half an hour from me. I own a gravel pit right on the backside of Sauble there, so I always call Sauble Speedway my cottage. That place is like home to me. So looking forward to going back there and competing full time, but definitely we'll be back in APC full time and trying to defend that championship.
Yeah, it'll be good seeing you there at your home track as well as back in the series. Josh Stade, 2025 APC Series champion. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for everything you guys do for Motorama. It's awesome. Get everyone up and talking, so thank you.